Millions of people living in South Asia face a deadly threat from heat and humidity driven by global warming. That's according to a new study. The study's in the journal Science Advances, and it warns that most of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh as well, will experience temperatures close to the limits of survivability by the end of the century without emissions reductions. The study is the first of its kind to look not just at temperatures but at wet bulb temperature. Now that combines heat, humidity and the human body's ability to cool down in response. The survivability threshold is considered to be 35 degrees Celsius. This research, though, says the fraction of the population exposed to dangerous humid heat waves may reach 30%, up from 0% at present. The total area of South Asia affected is home to 1/5 of the world's inhabitants. So quite dramatic results coming from this study. Let's talk to Professor Al-Fatih Al-Tahir, who is a professor at MIT and one of the co-authors of the study. He joins me now from Khartoum in Sudan. Good to have you with us. Tell us firstly how you did this research and came to these conclusions.
We carefully selected a set of global climate models that are credible for simulating the climate of South Asia, and we use them in combination with high-resolution regional climate models to make projections about the future climate of the South Asia region.
But Professor, are you looking at models that continue as the business as usual, what we're doing right now to the planet, or with an expectation that perhaps things will improve and we will start to do things to tackle global warming?
We assume two scenarios. One scenario is what we call business as usual scenario, in which we assume that the emissions will continue in the same track that have been in the last few decades. And the other scenario assumes moderate mitigation. And by comparing the projections from these two scenarios, we were able to evaluate the benefit that could result from moderate mitigation scenarios, and would also able to project what kind of conditions would be realized if we continue in the business as usual scenario.
I mean, talking about people reaching the levels of survivability, it's pretty drastic stuff. Do you feel like governments are listening about the potential of your research?
We believe that we have identified a region of South Asia that may be at the most significant risk from heat waves that would be caused by climate change, and that mainly a result of an overlap of intense hazard of heat waves caused by climate change and high vulnerability of the population. And the vulnerability stems from the fact that we have very high population density, relatively poor economic conditions, and also most of this population work as farmers in the field, so they have to get exposed to outdoor conditions. We think that the results are significant. We are providing them as a way to inform policy choices at the national level, at the global level, and they present quite a significant choice for India to basically weigh the needs for economic development that are quite legitimate, that would require increases in emissions of greenhouse gases against the potential risks that the most vulnerable population in that country may be able to face. However, yeah, please.
Professor Al-Fatih Al-Tahir, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us from Khartoum.